we can get started. So to begin with, I'm coming to my mat and I'm going to go ahead and sit in a side stride position. This is comfortable for me. If you need to elevate the hips a little bit because this isn't quite as comfortable as you'd like, towels will work, books will work. I use a lot of books. In the olden days, we would use phone books. In the newer days, we don't. So let's go ahead and just try to get the sit bones as close to the mat as possible. You're gonna roll the shoulders back and down. Take your navel and just draw it in towards your spine. And I want you to think about lifting that pelvic floor just a smidge. I don't want it lifted so high that you're here all contracted. We're just trying to take it up so you're just a little lift. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being totally raised up to your neck, you're going to keep it just right about here. So you're at a 1. So we're going to inhale and taking those arms up, bringing the arms back down, allowing those shoulder blades to lift and lower. So I'm raising it up, inhaling, and then exhaling and taking it down. And one more time, and I'm not looking at anybody being graceful. I know you are. Perfect. So what I'd like to do is have you place one hand on the ground. You're going to raise one arm up and lift the arm as high as you can toward the ceiling. We're not really crunching at this point. I'm just working on lifting, taking the rib cage out of the hips, and then the same thing on the other side. Just take it up and then back down, and then leaning to the other side. Just want to get the torso a little bit warmed up and those shoulders. And then one more time each side, remembering to breathe, still keeping those abdominals drawn in and that pelvic floor lifted just a bit. So I want you to inhale and then exhale and just add a very small rotation to this, allowing the spine to wake up slowly. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, in the other direction, bringing those arms down and then slowly a little rotation. Might be too early for your spine to do a lot of movement, so just listen. And then we'll just do one more rotation on either side. And then this will be your last one. Perfect. So bringing both the legs up, go ahead and change position so that you're able to be lengthwise on the mat if you're on it, or if you're not on the mat, it's not a problem. Think about sitting on top of the sit bones, navel drawn in, shoulder blades down. I want you to take the hands right behind the leg, just right here. Should have worn lighter pants, sorry about that. And then exhale, leaning back. Inhale, coming back up. Excuse me, I'm getting a cramp in my leg. You keep your legs bent unless you're having a cramp. And then one more time right here. Perfect. So this time what I'd like you to do is to just create a C and extend. Exhale, creating that C, rounding the upper body as much as possible, allowing that head to tip down just a bit. And then going ahead and coming back again. Hold here, bring one arm behind you. Now, if you want, keep one hand on the leg to help you maintain your position. And then sitting up straight. Otherwise, you're welcome to just take one hand out front, and then the other arm goes to the back, sitting up straight. One more time, we're rounding, coming back, adding that rotation. Just listening to your spine this morning. And then go ahead and hold the hands right here gently. Inhale, exhale, and then go ahead and curl down one vertebra at a time until you're laying on the floor. So I'm adjusting the towel in order to keep my chin in its neutral position. I'm pointing to the ceiling, but I'm not looking behind me. So we're going to just start with some real simple pelvic tilt. So draw the navel into the spine and gently take your back and let it touch the floor. And then just release. So we're just going to do several of these. Remembering to keep the pelvic floor lifted slightly. And then just one more time. And then releasing. So I'm going to bring my heels in a little bit closer to the sit bones, lining the distance-wise. The center of the heel is lined up with the center of the sit bone. I'm going to go ahead and press the low back into the floor and move into a very simple bridge. Now, when you're doing this, keep the arms and the shoulders nice and light on the floor, and then again, take those hips back down. So I want you to visualize your spine as you're lifting up. Your spine is a string of pearls, and you're lifting those pearls up off the floor one at a time, slowly lowering down. Sometimes, in particular at this time of the day, I find that I've got a section of my spine that kind of clumps instead of gracefully lifting and lowering. If you have a clumpy part of your spine, which I do, just go ahead and slow the movement down and just try and get a little more flexion, a little bit more movement between those vertebrae. And then one more time. We'll take it up. Good, and then take it on down and hold right here. So what I'd like to do is either have you keep your feet on the floor, or you're welcome to take your legs into a tabletop or extend the legs out like so. We're going to move into hundreds. So I will progress this from the feet on the floor movement. Take a nice deep breath and inhale. On your exhalation, just take the head and shoulders off the floor, turn the palms of the hands to the floor, and we're just going to pump. The movement is from the shoulders. It's quite strong, so you're contracting the muscles from the shoulders on down. If you want to make this a little bit more of a challenge, both legs can come off the floor. I'm staying in tabletop because this is the modification into the next level. Keeping the chin tucked in to the front of the throat, and then your gaze is at your knees. And then if this is a little bit, you'd like to progress farther, all we'll do is extend those legs out, reaching, continuing with the pumping. This is called 100s because in theory we do 100 presses. If your neck and shoulders get tired, go ahead and place the head back down, give it a rest, and then if you want to lift up again, you can do that. So the whole time you're doing this, you're lifting the pelvic floor and you're drawing that navel into the spine. The low back shouldn't be jammed into the floor. It should be in its neutral position. So there might be a little bit of space between the lumbar spine and the floor. So let's do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Knees to chest. Take a breath. And then we're going to take one leg to the ceiling. So again, start with the leg, one leg bent, the other leg extended. And we're just going to slowly draw circles on the ceiling with the toe. If this is pretty simple and you have a lot of control, you're welcome to extend one leg out and the other is at the ceiling. So let's reverse the direction. Ideally, the hips are very still. So you might find that you need to make these toe circles a little bit smaller, and that is fine. Good, and then we're going to bring the knee to chest, slide this foot down, and then the other leg comes up. So again, start with one leg bent and the other straight. Keep the circles small to begin with. And then if you have lots of control and a lot of strength, we'll go ahead and make the circles a little bit bigger. The other thing to think about is the shoulders and the neck. Reverse direction. They should be relaxed. No ears to your shoulders. And then one more circle. Perfect. Bring that knee in. Let's take both legs into tabletop position. This time the hands are going to come out to the side. You're going to line the hands up with your shoulders. I want you to glue these legs together, starting with your ankle bones to the knees. Inhale, exhale, allow both knees to drop to the side. Shoulders stay in contact to the floor, and then come to center. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So it's a leg drop. Inhale to center. Exhale as we drop to the other side. And then inhale to center. Exhale. We're keeping those legs glued together from ankle to knee as we go side to side. So we're going to have a little change in this if you choose. We're going to exhale and allow the legs to drop. If you choose, extend the top leg, come back to center, then fold. Legs drop, extend the top, and then come back to center. Keep the ankles and knees together on the drop, and then the knees stay together as you come to center. Bring back, perfect, perfect, and then drop, extend, centering, other side, extend, and center. And then bring both knees into the chest. And we'll move on to some dead bugs. So truly, if bugs were dead, they wouldn't be moving. I don't know how this came up. This was designated as a dead bug. So arms to the side, open up that chest, take your legs into tabletop. Extend one leg out, and then the opposite arm reaches behind. Coming to center, same thing on the other side. Extending that leg, and then reaching behind with your arm. And then back to center. Now to increase the intensity of this, that leg that you're straight can come closer to the floor so that it's parallel. And then back to center. But what I want you to do is just find that position of the straight leg that allows you to maintain your neutral spine. So that neutral spine just means that if we were to look at your hip bones and your pubic bone, they would be on the same plane. If there's any change in that position, then you need to change the position of your leg to make this just a little bit easier. Let's do one more on either side. Good. Perfect. And then those feet come down and we're going to roll over onto your side. So you have options on this sideline work. If you decide to lift up onto the elbow because there's any issues with the shoulders or your neck and your head, I want you to, I should have tucked this in before we started. I want you to watch that you keep the spine as straight as possible. This is a kind of a slouchy position, very comfortable, but not so hot for your shoulders and your back. So you're going to press the shoulder blade down and back, and then try to keep this from sagging to the ground. Top hand just rests lightly on the floor. My legs are straight here. We're going to take the leg up, and I want you to just do some small circles. So I'm drawing on the wall. Not really, but imaginary. And then reverse in the direction. Then I want you to flex the foot, bring your leg forward, toe point, and then squeeze back. Foot flex forward, toe point, and then squeeze back. So I want you on that squeezing part to think about tightening the glutes and the hamstrings as the leg goes behind you. Forgot to mention, if you're laying down, it looks like this. Sorry. So my foot is flexed as I come forward, pointed as I go back, flex forward, pointed back. So now I want you to point forward and flex back. Still contracting the glutes, tightening the muscles down the back of the leg, keeping those hips stacked. And then we've got one more. Perfect. So extending this leg, reaching the foot toward the opposite wall, back to your circle. And then reverse. Good. Now, we're going to raise the leg up, flex the foot, and come down. Toe point on the way up. Flex that foot, come down. Check out your hips. You want to make sure that those hip bones are stacked one on top of the other. The top leg, you are reaching it as far away from you as you can in order to keep the spine as straight as possible. Keep breathing. And as you lower the leg, imagine that you've got a rubber ball between them that you're just trying to squish. Okay, so keeping that foot flexed, you're coming up flexed, point it down. Up flexed, point down. Keep reaching that leg. I want to keep the hip bones stacked. And then we're going to do 2 more. Perfect. And then both legs together, raise them off the floor and reach, reach, reach. Hopefully nobody's getting a cramp in their foot. Reach, reach, reach. And then release down. Take the top leg and lay it on the floor. Bottom leg is, whoops, not on the floor. So sorry, I'm losing my marbles here. And both legs, we're doing clams. Okay, so in this position, I just want you to take the top leg and point the knee to the ceiling, knee to ceiling. Again, the hips should not be rolling around. They should be nice and still. When you pause this movement at the top, tighten the muscles right here. That's the focus. And then we'll do just 1 more. Perfect. Now, if you choose, take both feet off the floor, and then we're going to do the same thing. Little bit of a tendency to roll backwards on this, so we really want to focus on keeping the hip bones stacked. And then just 1 more time. Great. And then lowering the legs. Take that top leg forward, which is what I was trying to do before we started. If you have some tension here, go ahead and create some heat by rubbing your hand on that area to help those muscles relax. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and roll back to the back 1 more time. Support the head. Before we go to the other side, I'm going to take you into some bridging. So holding here, I want you to lift. And then we're doing alternating toe taps. So without the hips dropping, take 1 leg off the floor, place it down, and then raise the other. There's a tendency when we get into bridging to push as hard as you can through the arms into the floor. That's really not going to stabilize you, but it might cause your neck and shoulders to start to hurt. So you might want to think of letting those hands lay lightly on the floor. And last one, and then we're going to go ahead and come on down. Inhale, exhale, take it up, and then slowly down. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time, we're going to lift. Perfect. So from here, let's take 1 leg and extend it out. Point up, flex your foot, take that leg to the floor. Up, flex, point, and flex. That's great. Again, the shoulders are not pressing into the floor. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So 1 leg down, the other leg extends, pointing to the ceiling, flexing to the floor. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then bring those feet down, and then both knees come to the chest. Hold it here just a moment. I kind of like this roll side to side, feels so much better. And then both feet come to the floor. Want you to take your hands, reach toward the ankle bones, tuck your chin, inhale, exhale, and just lift the head and shoulders off the floor. And then come back down. Inhale, exhale, head and shoulders toward the floor. Your gaze is toward the top of the leg, not the ceiling. So if you'd like to change this a little bit, you're welcome to take both feet off the floor or to extend both legs out as they were when we were doing the hundreds. And then this will be your last one. Knees into chest, feet to the floor, and then roll to the other side so we can get the side lying work for the other side. I don't want you to be uneven when you finish here. Okay, so again, you're welcome to stay here or to lie down, resting your head on your arm, stacking the hips. This is the key for both of these positions. These hips have to be stacked. Okay, so let's raise this leg up, shoulders slide down, and then we circle. As we're circling, the hips are stacked, just means one hip bone is right on top of the other. This hand is being used, the top arm, to assist in balance and to help keep those hips still. Then the other direction. One more time. Good. Now I want you to flex the foot, come forward, toe point, and then go back. So in this, the key is to tighten the glutes and the hamstrings as you swing backward, keeping these hips as still as possible. And then we'll do this again. Now, flex foot forward, toe point back, keep the toe pointed, and flex back. So it's a toe point forward to the flex back. If you're up on the elbows, check your body position to make sure that you're not sagging. Shoulder blades should be stacked. And then the last one. Good. And then one more time, we're just going to do several circles in each direction. Reversing. Perfect. Let's bring both legs up. Reach long. And then down. So going to take the leg up, flex down to the ceiling, and then flex down. If you're up in the elbows, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to get high because this is not an optimal position for leg raises. Yeah, one more. Now keep that toe flex up, toe point down, flex up. I'm beginning to sweat. And then last one. Perfect. Bring both legs here, knees are bent, and we're moving into clam. So my feet stay together. I'm activating the muscles that are right here in the little hollow of the glutes. And then this will be the last one. Let's take those feet up. And then from here, back into another series of clams, about 8. Abs are tight. I haven't mentioned that recently. Not a good idea. And then one more time. Perfect. And then extend this leg out on the floor. And then just go ahead and rub slowly if you choose. Perfect. So the last thing we'll do are just a few plank type movements. One thing you can do is just to go ahead and come here and go into your, this thing. Sorry, totally forgot what I'm calling it. And then come back down. And you do not need to go all the way up. If stopping here at the elbow is going to give you the stretch that you need, then that's perfect. And then come on down. So let's curl the toes under, bring your elbows under the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades down the back. Options here to go into your plank, you can keep the knees on the floor. Holding here, and or go ahead and bring the knees off the floor. So we're just going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and lower down. Take a breath. Moving back into plank again. Stay here on the knees if this is more comfortable for you. Otherwise, if you wish to choose to go up to all fours, that's great. So if you're on all fours, I want you to push forward on the toes and then come back. So we're just moving forward and back. I like to do this. It makes me think I'm not doing a plank. And then hold. And then bring it on down. So sitting back on the heels, allow the arms to reach out in front. If this is comfortable, the head will rest on the floor. Continue breathing. If the arms out in front don't work for you, just go ahead and take the hands and allow them to rest by your side. Your head will probably go ahead and rest on the floor. We'll take 3 breaths. And then just go ahead and release. Coming back up into your seated position. I'm going to sit cross-legged just for the moment. I want to bring one arm in front just to stretch that upper back. At the same time, we'll get a little bit of a neck stretch, so go ahead and allow the ear to drop toward the shoulder. And then centering, and then the same thing on the other side. Head drop for that neck stretch. Perfect, and then coming to center. I'm going to just take my hands behind and interlace the fingers to get a chest stretch. If this is too much of a movement through the shoulder for you, go ahead and just bring the arms out to the side, rotate the shoulders down, and think about squeezing the shoulder blades as you press the heels of the hand away from you. And then the last thing I want to do is go ahead and just have a little spinal rotation. Your spine should be pretty warm at this point. So you might find that these rotations allow you to go a little bit farther. And perfect. So take a deep breath up, and I want to thank you very much for joining me for this 30-minute Love Your Mat. I hope you enjoyed your mat as much as I did. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to Kirsty and she can get in touch with me.